Hi guys, I'm trying to fix my camera here. So you can, I don't know how much of you guys do you want me to see. You want to see just my head in the middle? Do you want to see more of my torso, my manly figure? What do you want to see? How you guys doing? I feel so blessed this morning. I don't know about the rest of you, but man, it's like, and everything is, it all has to do with the self. Your understanding of what's going on, and when you realize that there's really nothing wrong with anybody or anything. Now, from the outside, it might look like, oh, these people are attacking one another or something like that, but that's just them going through their own healing process, and there's nothing you can do. You can't try and fix somebody from the outside, right? You can be available if anybody asks for help. So, like last night, I almost broke down crying last night. I was trying to hold back tears because I was with my dad, my brother, and Ken. If you're watching this, we were sitting there, we having dinner, and was ready for the tab. And the waitress came up and she looked directly at me. I felt like she was looking at me. She's like, oh, it's paid for. You guys don't have to worry about it. And I was like, is there anybody we can thank for our dinner? And she's like, no. Merry Christmas. Santa Claus came tonight. I was like, oh, thank you so much. Because, try and give as much as you can to causes that you believe in. There's people that don't have enough food, right? And so I encourage all you guys that you don't have to worry about you. You are always fine. You will always be, as long as you get to a place where you don't feel like you need anything, and just give whoever's in need, then you'll always be taken care of. Now, there is a fine line between giving and enabling. You don't want to, as a leader, you don't want to enable somebody that isn't moving towards healing themselves and helping themselves. But at the same time, we live in a world that thrives on money, and there's places that there are places in the Middle East, in Africa, Southeast Asia, United States. It doesn't matter where you look. There are places where it's very hard to get on top, and if you grow up in an area that's highly conflicted, where there's a lot of pulling energies trying to pull off of you in different ways, it's hard to get to a place where you feel your self-worth is high enough, where you feel loved and you feel at peace within yourself. And so it forces you to try and feed off the people around you. So there's all kinds of generational trauma that's associated with that, that we're healing right now. And the way that we heal that is we heal ourselves. You don't have to worry about healing anybody else, right? Just worry about yourself. And when you get to that healed state, then you start to be able to let everybody else know there's nothing wrong with you, right? You are so beautiful, and there is nothing wrong with you. All you have to do is see your own power and beauty within yourself, and then you'll no longer be in conflict with anybody else, right? Because now you're healed. There's no reason for you to try and heal other people. Now you're just in that healed state. And so this channel for me is really important for me because it shares my own personal experience and my own personal growth of coming to understand that. So that being said, very blessed, right? You just feel blessed to be able to get into that state of mind. There is no better blessing in this world and being able to be at a state of peace at all times during the day or night. And there's nothing that feels like it's pulling you in any direction. You don't feel like you need to do anything, right? to do this or that. You don't need anything. You know, if I didn't have food here, I'd be okay. If I didn't have, I know that all my needs are always going to be met. And so there is, you know, seek ye first the kingdom, right? That saying is so profound because it's talking about that we're always seeking. It doesn't matter what's going on out there. Nothing out there matters. The only thing that is where you're ever at peace is when you're at peace within here, right? Because you could be at the most beautiful banquet ball in the world, and you could be interacting with people all over the place that, you know, but if they're concentrating on the things out there, then they're not addressing, you know, if they're not, they might not be at peace internally. They could be, you don't know. And so the external reality has actually no bearing whatsoever on your inner peace. You could be walking in the darkest of places, but if you're at peace, that's the only thing that matters, right? So there's nothing wrong with manifesting wealth or living in a mansion or not living in a mansion. Live in a van down by the river. Live in a mansion. Whatever you like. As long as you're at peace and that's what you love, then it does not matter, right? That's it. And so then everything else. And so that's how we end up building systems and structures that represent that state of being, where we're at peace. And then we're just creating whatever we want to create, right? Got a text message. We'll see who this is. Oh, Spectrum. Spectrum Internet. I tried calling the Department of Revenue. They called me about something. I don't know. I'll call them back here in a minute. I just want to make this video for you guys. And my brother got me this. So we're going to go through this today. My brother got me this Aleister Crowley tarot deck. Pumped about this, baby. Oh, yeah. Aleister Crowley was, he was a special kind of guy. I would have loved to meet this guy. If you read about Aleister Crowley, he did so many things. I don't know, man. And I guess he moved a couple of cards in the deck. Now, according to this is a famous tarot deck. So this, oops, I dropped the thing out. Thoughts and Visions Behind the Famous Deck. That's our book here. So we're going to do a reading, but we're going to focus on, we're going to have an intent, what we're going to focus on, and then, I don't know, we'll see where it leads, right? And then I'll let you guys decide in the comments if you decide you want specific readings. I'm open to anything, right? Just whatever you guys want, right? I'm at peace. Because I'm okay. I don't, I feel like, whatever you guys want to hear about. The entire, like I said, the entire world is in conflict, but it's all coming from inside. On the outside, it's like, oh, this is, and so it's like when you see it from the outside, you think, oh, I need to fix this. But no, it's fine. Everyone's learning just to heal. Take the time to heal, and you just make yourself available if they need to be healed, right? The Fool card. We got to talk about the Fool card. The Fool card in this deck is very interesting. I'll let you guys look at it. It's not like any of the other ones. If you look at it, it's very interesting. I mean, the guy's got a flower growing up between his crotch, and he's wearing like what's his face look like? It's like a goat. A green goat, but it does kind of carry that growth characteristic. So in his right hand, he's holding a rod that's got a pyramid on top of it instead of a sword. Think about that. I guess it's kind of a pokey stick with like a pyramid on top. The Aleister Crowley Fool card. I don't know if you guys can see that. See that pokey stick he's got? And then it's got a tiger and an alligator. And then there's on the top, there's two guys blowing wind, and he's got a little triangle on the top of his head there. Fool card. And then there's a circle. Actually, it's a spiral that comes from the center of him. Actually, it looks like it's right below his heart chakra. If you look at that whole spiral in this card is spiraling from the center of his being. And there's all these like flower. There's a butterfly and a dove and a couple other birds that are coming out, and vines wrapped around that spiral coming out of him. Really cool, because the Fool card is all about growth. Even on the Rider-Waite Tarot deck, right? This one, the Fool is the garments he's wearing is all about growth, and his growth for taking leaps of faith. So, yeah, pretty cool. I don't know. Let's read it on the book. Let's see what he has to say about the Fool card. I'll turn it to it. What do you know? Keywords: innocence, potential, adventure, thoughts, ideas, spirituality, and eccentricity. I think that describes me pretty well. I'm pretty innocent, right? I'm at peace. And eccentric? I can be a little bit eccentric, I think. I mean, my thoughts, right? Thoughts, ideas, spirituality. I always have thoughts on, money and things like that. And so, when I talk about money on this channel, nothing is inherently bad. It's all created by us. And so we can enjoy it if we want to. They're all, if I feel like I need to use something or not use something, that's a belief system, right? I don't have any belief systems, generally speaking. I am what I am. I am that I am. I am the center. If you guys watch my channel, you guys probably figured that one out. You guys are all the same. You are the I am that I am. And so the vessel that you're inhabiting is your access point to yourself, basically, right? It's like plugging yourself into yourself, if that makes sense. And so that's how you experience yourself, and to experience yourself as separate, so that you get to relearn that you are whole, if that makes sense. So that's why you always have to have two opposing creation. Creation creates the illusion of separation. That's why don't ever worship creation. Because creation is that's what it is. It's created. It's created by you and me. And so that's not you or me. That's creation. And it changes. Constantly changing. Old things die, go away, and new things are born. And that's all it is. It's just creation. So I don't care if I'm not attached to any point of creation. I'm not attached to this body or a body out there or anything, really. It's just creation. It's fine. It's great. You can create your body to look however you want it to look. You could create whatever, right? I'm gonna look pretty, sexy back. I mean, you can create whatever you want, right? I mean, if you want to look just 1,000 pounds, but you're gonna have a hard time getting around. I'm okay with it. However you want to look. I mean, I'm actually. I've been less concerned about how other people look more and more as, you become at peace with yourself. It's like I got this, for one thing, I've always had this thing. I got this one ear that kind of sticks out a little farther, if you guys can see that. right? I don't know why. Dad's got the same thing. I think it's a Scottish thing. I'm a Scottish, I've got Scottish, Swedish heritage. This vessel does anyway. And, yeah. Anyway, let's read a little bit more about the Fool. For Crowley, all cards have both spiritual magical meaning and a mundane one for divination. Spiritually, the Fool is the yearning for transcendence and the ideas and thoughts that facilitate such an endeavor. I guess that's me, right? Exactly. However, practically speaking, the Fool can, if found in a challenging position in a reading, represent eccentricity that leads to foolishness and poor decisions. Oh, definitely. Right? I've been there. In some cases, it may even point to mania and unhelpful obsessions. Ooh, boy. Essentially, though, this is the card of original thought, a unique way of looking at the world that holds the potential to yield great bounty. The querent is being advised to keep an open mind and utilize the innocence of things as yet unknown. A blank canvas can hold a great work of art, or a shoddy mess, which will appear is entirely down to your own attitude, innate talent, and learned skills. Kabbalistically, this card is attributed to the letter Alpha, or Aleph, and is the first of the three mother letters, Aleph, Mem, and Shin. These correspond to the symbol triads found within these cards and the magical systems that Crowley operated within, these being fire, water, and air, father, mother, and child, sulfur, salt, and mercury, and the Rajas, Sattvas, and Tamas. The Fool is like the sudden burst of spring flowers, both expected and yet still a surprise. This is an airy card signifying the gold of sun, the gold of true potentiality. He is dressed in green, again speaking to his connection to the bursting spring. In his right hand he holds the wand, tipped with a pyramid of white, of the Allfather. In his left hand has the flaming pine cone, both accoutrements of power and growth. From his left shoulder hangs a bunch of grapes, purple in color. These represent fertility, sweetness, and ecstasy. From the stem of the grapes, that ecstasy is shown developing into rainbow-colored spirals. This is the form of the universe. It symbolizes the threefold veil of the non-matter manifesting through his intervention in divided light. The threefold veil of the non-matter manifesting through his intervention in divided light. Think about that for a second. Threefold veil. So that's source, spirit, and because that's the motion between source and spirit, and then the manifested reality, the threefold veil. So there's the nothingness, and then there's the driving force, spirit, the motion, and then the thing itself. Because there has to be a vehicle for moving from the two, right? The feminine is the driving force, the masculine is the seed, the information, and then the child is what's born. The threefold veil. Same thing. So, here we go. Through his intervention in divided light, sat upon a spiral are the other attributes of divinity. The vulture of Maat, the dove of Venus, Isis or Mary, and the ivy sacred to the devotees of Dionysus, whom the Fool represents. Other symbols in this rich card are the butterfly of many-colored air, the winged globe with its twin serpents, and the twin infants embracing on the middle spiral. Above them hangs in blessing the image of the three flowers in one. At his feet are the tiger and the crocodile. All the energy of these many symbolic features coalesced in his navel in a radiant sun, a microcosm of the sun above us. Crowley's final words on The Fool is that the whole picture is a glyph of the creative light. That's right. The whole picture is a glyph of creative light. It's the act of creation over and over and over and over from Creator. And that describes the divinity. The Father, Mother, Son. Father being the source, Mother the driving force, and the child, the creation itself. You're always birthing something within yourself. Your passion, the feminine, is that driving force, the spirit of adventure, right? That's why everything is spirit, and women are manifested. The manifested creation of woman represents our passion, right? Beautiful, so beautiful, guys. Me, I'm just a guy, but I see all creation as passion for me, and so I love men, women. I'm not saying I'm bisexual by any means, but you just appreciate the form, the creation, and there's beautiful men, beautiful women, right? I mean, I don't know how else to say it. What do you guys think? I don't know. So he changes cards in this deck, and we'll maybe look into this later. I'm not going to read all this book today. But he changes, so one of these is lust. Okay, we got to read this one. Courage, magic, passion, strength, mastery, and vigor. In the Marcellus deck, this card is called strength. Okay, so lust is strength. Interesting. 11. Is that the same position in the Rider-Waite deck? I don't know. I gotta look at this card. Lust. Ooh, we got a lust card. We gotta use this deck more often, right? Oh, yeah. It's got a chick on top of a lion. Nice. Yeah. Like it. So, yeah. Hangman. Oh, nice. He's hanging off of the Egyptian ankh. Is that what that's called? Cross, same as a cross. Has more meaning though, because it's holding something in the top of it. Then he's hanging off of it. I'll have to check. I mean, as I use this deck, because he was very specific about making sure that his symbolism was representative of the state of being of each card, right? Because every card represents some kind of state of being. I really love the Fool card because this is always the card of infinite potential. And so in every day, if you're always in this card, then you're always open to adventure and you're always stepping off into infinite potential. And you don't really ever know where it's going to go. Like, who wants to do the same thing over and over again? I mean, I'm always kind of come up with ideas of what I want to do next, right? I don't know. Whatever it is, and like I said before, is you don't want to tell anybody that they need to be fixed. You want to tell people that they're whole, remember? All they got to do is just do the inner work. If you don't feel whole, then you're always buying into some kind of illusion. You are perfect just the way you are, right? So, yeah. What do I want to do? What do you want to do? I don't know. I need to keep working on my keyboard more because I love singing. And I'm going to start writing. I started writing a second book, so I'm going to keep writing that. Yeah. The devil. Yeah. Attachments. And then, so the devil card And this is why a devil card's attachment is because if you're attached to any kind of specific outcome or materialism, right? You're attached to some kind of something that you see, you can physically see, taste, then you're getting pulled in out of your state of being. Attachment doesn't allow you to just be at peace. And so that's why this is kind of the opposite card of the Fool. To me. Let me you guys know what you think. You know? Very cool cards. I love these cards. Okay, let's do a read. What do you guys want? What should we read on? Let's set an intent. What's our intent? What will be our intent? So if the entire, our civilization is moving from learning that we are the creator and not the created, and that we are no longer in conflict internally, and accept each other for exactly the way that we are. Honor each other, mutually respect one another. Then, what do we want to think about? What should our intent be? Just spiritual news? I don't know. Let's sound whatever you guys need to hear, and I'll let that come through and say, okay, Spirit. The driving force, my passion is you guys hear whatever it is you need to hear. And I firmly believe that sharing, whatever you guys need to hear is what I am saying. Because there's no greater gift than being able to share yourself with other people. So even if you don't pull cards, don't be afraid to get on and just make sure you're sharing yourself with the people around you. That's all I would ever ask of anybody. Or advise anybody, just to share yourself and be at peace with yourself, because you're beautiful. You don't have to prove it, that you are something to somebody else. You don't have to, learn not to worry about other people's projections of you. You are beautiful and fine. And once you get to that state of being, you'll be able to share yourself in more and more profound ways to the people around you, and just be there for them if they need anything. That's all any of us want, right? You want to have somebody there saying, I'm going to experience this. Do you want to experience that with me? Right? Because there's so many things to experience. All it is, right? Just nothing. Experience playing cards together. All right. What do you guys need to hear? Let's think about this. Success. You guys are in a state of success here. 6 of discs. So I'm assuming that's 6 of pentacles, right? Discs is 6 of pentacles, and the Rider-Waite is the people giving to Huh. This is a really good reading. I wonder what debauch mean. Okay, let's look. We got to look this one up. So right now I've got 6 of discs, success. Now in the Rider-Waite, that's somebody giving coins to somebody is receiving, and then somebody is not receiving, right? It's also Six of Wands is victory. So maybe discs is wands? I don't know. Success in this deck. That's all we care about, right? Success. Six of Swords is science. So in the Rider-Waite, I know that one is, you're on a ship moving away from water. So science is actually discovery. So that makes sense, right? You're always out. So we're always self-discovery. Success always comes from self-discovery. And we're passion and universe. This is the world card in the Rider-Waite. But he calls it the universe card here. And this card is pretty cool. I don't know if you guys can see this. My camera is not I need to get a better camera. Yeah. Pretty wild, huh? I mean, you got a galaxy spin around someone's head and all this stuff coming out of them. The snake, wrapped around the snake. So everything is coming full circle. Buildings down below with the 4 different animals in the corners, kind of similar to the world card. World and universe are identical, right? Because, I mean, when you think about world, you're thinking about everything. The world, as you understand it, the universe, everything. And 7 of Cups, that's the choice card. It's the in this side, it's just Debauch. Debauch. So we got to look this one up. This was a really good state to be in. You guys are doing awesome, right? Self-discovery, victory, success. Anyway. Resolution, accomplishment, integration, rest, inertia, stubbornness, and delay. I guess that makes sense. The 7 of Cups is kind of a little bit of a delay card because you're choosing. This tarot card, or no, that's the universe card. I'm looking at the wrong card. So we got to go to 7 of Cups. The pip cards, let's see, Ace of Cups, 2, 7. Oh, it's all, okay, 7 of Cups, the Bach. There we go. My eyes. This card refers to the 7 Netzach and the suit of water. Here recurs the invariable weakness arising from lack of balance. The card is governed by Venus in Scorpio. I think, where's my Venus? My Venus is in Pisces. I think Venus is in Pisces for me, if I remember right. I was looking at my birth chart next year. If you guys, I would love to hear what you guys' birth charts are like in the comments. Just throw it in the comments. And talk more about your sun sign. I'd love to hear about, because everybody, we're all just vessels that are accessing the field in a certain way. And so mine is like, I'm almost all air water. I'm like all air water. Sun, my sun sign, Jupiter, I think Sun, Jupiter, and Venus are all in Pisces. And Sun and Jupiter are almost right next to each other at the cusp of Pisces Aquarius. And the Sun is so, in my chart, is so like right in the middle of Pisces Aquarius that it's almost, you can't even tell where, if it's just barely in, it's at 0 degrees Pisces in my chart. Sun is 0 degrees Pisces. And it could be just as easily be 0 degrees Aquarius. So it's like, I never, when I watch readings online, or watch any of you guys that do readings online, if you're watching this, like, I never pay attention to, like, if you guys do individual sign readings, I don't watch them because it doesn't ever feel like anything applies to me. I mean, even like in Neptune, and I think Neptune and something else is in the cusp of Scorpio Libra for me. So I've got like, and there's something else that's sitting in Libra that's really close to the cusp of Libra Scorpio. So it's like half of my placements are in the cusps of water, air. I have one placement in fire. I don't sit in Aries or what's the other air? Leo. I got nothing in Leo or Aries. Nothing. I have my north node is Sagittarius, along with I think Neptune. Yeah, Neptune is in Sagittarius, right next to my north node. So that is what drives me. It's my passion, right? Our fire is our passion. And so what always drives me is healing. Sagittarius, like the healing angel. And so expansion, healing. Healing of the self. And so as long as you are healed, then you will naturally heal the people around you. It forces other people to heal because you're in a healed state. You're healing yourself. And you are everything. But you don't ever have to look out there. The more you heal yourself, the more that you will just naturally heal the world around you just by working on you and then sharing yourself with people. Never trying to control, just share yourself with people. Right? Sagittarius, the healing angel is always there when you need it. It never tries to force its will upon you, ever. Healing will never try to force its will upon you. A healer will never do that. Will always just share themselves with you and be available for whatever you need, whenever you need it. Let's keep reading here. I'm getting off track. One is reminded that Venus. I'm gonna hold on, guys. I'm gonna turn the light on because I like natural light, and I never turn the lights on in here, but I need the light to read this. Okay. So, one is reminded that Venus is the planet of copper. External splendor and internal corruption. Corruption? Oh, yeah. Because if you're always worried about external, it will corrupt you, right? The lotuses have become poisonous, looking like tiger lilies, and instead of water, green slime issues from them and overflows, making the sea a malarious morass with shapes in the murk. Venus redoubles the influence of the number 7. The cups are iridescent, carrying out the same idea. They are arranged as 2 descending triangles interlaced above the lowest cup, which is very much larger than the rest. This card is almost the evil and averse image of the 6. It is a wholesome reminder of the fatal ease with which a sacrament may be profaned and prostituted. Lose direct touch with Kether the highest. Diverge ever so little from the delicate balance of the middle pillar. At once the holiest mysteries of nature become the obscene and shameful secrets of a guilty conscience. I don't know if I see that. I mean, I guess that card is kind of like this. Here, I'll show you this. De Bach. So, I mean, guys, some of us are having a guilty conscience. On the top side, it's Venus, and on the bottom side, it's Scorpio. So it's like a passion in Scorpio, right? I mean, it's new moon in Scorpio. That's today, right? Yeah. I think my Venus, where is my Venus place? My Venus is in Pisces, I think. I don't know. I have to look. Could be in Scorpio. I don't think, no, my Venus isn't in Scorpio. I have something in Scorpio, though. Scorpio's not bad. Scorpio, it's all about deepest desires, right? And emotional ties to those. Because I know the sexual organs for Scorpio is the genitalia. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Seven of Cups. Choices. So falling into external, right? Because that leads to dysfunction when you're too concerned with the external. The external doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're sitting in a little bed by the river. If it doesn't matter if you're in the worst place in the world. Finding that inner peace will let you fall into your creative energy and start creating beauty for the people around you, right? Don't fall into the external reality. So that's just I think it's in our warning card, right? If I'm looking at these cards the way I've got them laid out, it's our obstacle card. Don't worry about the external. Internal reality. Worry about your internal reality. Maybe that'll be the name of this video. Ooh. So we got the Prince of Discs, Prince of Wands, Ace of Wands, and Four of Discs, power. So this is our if this is our obstacle, then we've got ingenuity and power and Ace of Wands. I love this Ace of Wands card. I'll show you this. This deck is pretty cool. So what else do we need to learn? I think I'm going to start writing down. I have a bunch of cards written down. Let's do this. I have all these cards that I wrote down a long time ago. Let's see what we get here on this Ace of Wands. And I have no idea what's written on these. I mean, I wrote these a long time ago. I have no idea what's going to come out of here. So it'll be interesting. I wrote some pretty interesting stuff on some of these cards. Let's see what happens here. What do we got? What do we need in here? On our Ace of Wands here, we got our... First, we'll look at our Seven of Cups. This is us maybe concentrating on the external a little bit too much. We don't need to worry about the external. What do we got? Guilt. Wow. Same thing, right? Guilt. Guilt is what forces you to look at the external. Something you did in the past. And guilt will tie you down, right? It's like an anchor. That's an obstacle. Guilt is always an obstacle. Don't be guilty. Don't feel guilty of maybe the ways you act. Just let go, right? Of the way that you viewed other people. That's always the point of guilt, is always the way that you viewed yourself in the past versus... and so that will pull you into that energetic state of feeling guilty about what you did. You don't need to feel, just be honest, right? And then it opens you up so that you're open with everybody and everything. So for me personally, I'll tell you guys, I'll be vulnerable here. You know, I'm coughing. So, you know, in a lot of ways, when I first quit my job, because I saw a lot of the way people were innerly conflicted at work, and I was conflicted, right? Because I wanted to try and help in whatever way I could, and I didn't understand that, you know, you can't fix anybody. All you can do is try and help in whatever way you can. And I realized that whatever way I was helping there wasn't. You can't change what is happening from the outside. All you can do is do what you need to do for yourself and just become an example for people and be available for them, right? I mean, when you listen, and I was just talking to my dad about this, when you look at the story of Jesus in the Bible, he never tried to fix anybody. He got to a state where he was completely healed, and then all of a sudden people started walking towards him, because you just naturally attract. When you get to that state where you're healed, people will seek you out. You don't need to worry about anything, right? Because your needs are taken care of. You'll always be fine. And so you get to a place where he just started walking across the landscape. And then we'd be asked, hey, can you see somebody for me? They need help. And then he would just heal them. It's like, okay. Because he was healed. You can only reproduce of who you are. If you're saying, hey, there's something wrong, I think there's something wrong with you, then that is a projection of who you are. Then it feels like there's something wrong with you. So if you feel like that guilt of something that you did will pull you into that energetic state where you feel like there's something wrong with you. So guilt, that's an obstacle. This will always be an obstacle. Let's get something on the Ace of Wands here. Oh, nice. You found your purpose in life. Like it. Cards aren't, readings aren't random. Found your purpose in life. To bring peace to the world around you. Trust your heart. I wrote these cards a long time ago. Your heart will always tell you what you want to do, how you want to feel. And just guilt will always keep you from trusting your heart. Because your heart is telling you how much you love the people around you. For me personally, I felt guilty about loving somebody that was already in a relationship. And I told him that I loved him. And I felt like I just needed to walk away, right? Because if it's not being reflected and they don't, if they don't feel the same way, then that's okay. Just walk away, right? And don't feel guilty about falling in love with somebody that is already in a relationship with somebody else or loving somebody else. Just be honest with them and say, hey, look, I'm sorry. I have feelings for you. And, I don't want to be in a third-party relationships, or anything like that. And it's not... I don't want to make you feel bad or anything like that, but it's just that, you have to move away from that, right? I mean, nobody wants to, I don't want to get involved with the group sex activities or if somebody's open to that. It's not me, right? Because for me, and I think I made a video about this a little while ago, you really want to create like healthy, fall into deeper states of awareness with somebody. For me personally, I would like to grow infinitely with somebody over time. And I wouldn't, if somebody wanted to experience whatever, I'd be like, okay. But if it happens over and over and it'll start to pull them away from you, right? If somebody feels like they need to experience that external thing with somebody else over and over and over, then it's showing a state where they're not at peace within themselves. I mean, I'm just saying it like it is. That's why, like, orgies and group sex, to me, will just never be, right? If everybody is in a completely healed state, then I think that is a possibility. But I'd not yet, because for one thing, you're satisfying someone's lust for external pleasure by doing that, and you're not helping them in any way. Yeah, if that makes sense. Not in my lifetime, I don't believe. I mean, who knows? Let's get one more card on the guilt card here and see what kind of guilt is our blockage. What kind of guilt is our blockage? You spoke your truth. So you feel guilty about speaking your truth. Don't ever feel guilty about that. That's okay. So like when I talk about money and things like that, for one thing, it's okay to set boundaries, and I believe that, right? So when you're setting boundaries, and you believe in something, that's okay. For one thing, I have no problem with anybody speaking their truth, because all of us are coming into higher states of awareness of who we are. And so for one thing, your truth will change over time. And so you really have to, and this is something that I have to constantly go through, is reevaluate, how you have to, when you respect yourself, you'll respect other people's boundaries, their truths, what they hold dear. So don't ever feel guilty about speaking your truth, because for one thing, your understanding of yourself will change over time. So don't ever feel guilty about that. For one thing, if people want to work with money with me, okay, we'll use that. We don't have to. Don't have to at all. And so for me personally, in my personal relationships and the people that I'm working with, we're not going to work with money. But with the external world, and that's what they're comfortable with, and that's what we'll use. I mean, don't feel guilty about that. I try to do my best to be explanatory in that as much as possible. When you're at peace with however anybody wants to do business, then be at peace. Let's get another one here. Oh no. I don't feel good enough for you. Don't ever feel that way. When you don't feel good enough for somebody, it's not a good way to be. So we have guilt. You spoke your truth and you don't feel good enough. You are good. I don't care who you are. You are good enough for me. And I'm good enough for anybody out there. I know that for a fact. So whoever you are, if you're watching this, you are good enough for me. I've never met someone who wasn't good enough for me. That is from the deepest part of my heart to you. And it does bring me pain when people feel like they're not good enough for anybody. Because, I have been in that state before where I didn't feel like I was good enough for somebody. There is nobody that isn't good enough for me. Nobody. But, the right path, despair. And then, despair shows itself in a lot of different ways. But all you have to do is just do the work on yourself. You are fine for whoever it is that you love or don't love. I mean, I love everybody, and it's in some ways it's a cursing and a blessing, because in order to love yourself, you have to set boundaries to make sure that you're not, being fed off of, right? And you don't want to fall into something that's not right, but the right path. And the right path could be a path of despair for a little while, right? Sometimes you have to walk through fire to be to find what it is that means something to you. I don't know. Let's get a little bit more on trust your heart. Ooh, phone right out. I wrote this deck a long time ago. I'm going to show you guys this last card. And I don't know who's watching this, but you guys probably need to hear this one more than anything. I've never seen anybody with this card before. You ignored the fact that our hearts are the only treasure in this world. It's true. Love is the only thing that ever matters. And the love for each other is the only thing that ever matters. And the hearts, you can't ignore the fact that our hearts are the only thing, the only treasure that you will ever find in this world, is that our love for each other is the only treasure in this world. That's it. Nothing else matters. All the external stuff, all that stuff doesn't matter. It's the love and compassion that you show for one another. So, yeah. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. And, maybe I need to work on this. I don't know. But I want to continue to show my love for all of you. And, in whatever way I feel like I need to. So, love you guys. Have a great day.